Have you ever cracked open an egg, whipped up a quick breakfast, and felt like you were doing something good for your body? Eggs are such a staple in our kitchens, aren't they? They're versatile, affordable, and packed with nutrients. But here's something you might not have thought about. Are you preparing and eating them in a way that's actually supporting your health, especially as we get a little older? You see, eggs can be a powerhouse of nutrition, but there are some common mistakes many of us make, often without even realizing it, that can turn this healthy food into something less beneficial or even harmful. And when you're over 60, what you eat plays such a big role in how you feel every day. It's not just about staying energized, it's about keeping your bones strong, your heart healthy, and your mind sharp. So today, we're going to talk about those little mistakes that might be sneaking into your egg routine and how you can fix them to make sure you're getting the most out of this incredible food. Let's start with something that might surprise you: overcooking your eggs. Now I know what you're thinking. Aren't eggs supposed to be cooked thoroughly to avoid things like salmonella? And yes, that's true, especially for seniors, since our immune systems aren't quite as strong as they used to be. But here's the thing. When you overcook eggs, especially at high temperatures, you can actually destroy some of the nutrients that make them so good for you. For example, eggs are a great source of antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which are fantastic for eye health, something many of us are thinking about as we age. But these nutrients are sensitive to heat. So if you're frying your eggs until they're rubbery or scrambling them until they're dry, you might be losing some of those benefits. So what's the solution? It's all about finding that sweet spot. For scrambled eggs, try cooking them on medium-low heat and taking them off just before they look fully done. They'll continue to cook a bit from the residual heat, and you'll end up with a softer, more nutrient-rich dish. And if you're boiling eggs, aim for a gentle simmer rather than a rolling boil. This way you'll preserve more of those precious nutrients while still making sure they're safe to eat. Now let's talk about another common mistake: skipping the yolk. I know there's been a lot of talk over the years about how egg yolks are high in cholesterol, and for a while people were told to avoid them altogether. But here's what we've learned more recently. For most of us, the cholesterol in eggs doesn't have a huge impact on our blood cholesterol levels. In fact, the yolk is where most of the nutrients are. It's packed with vitamins like B12, D, and A, as well as healthy fats that are great for brain health. So unless your doctor has specifically advised you to limit your cholesterol intake, there's no need to ditch the yolk. Instead, enjoy the whole egg. It's nature's perfect little package of nutrition. But here's a twist: while the yolk is incredibly nutritious, how you pair it with other foods matters too. For example, if you're frying your eggs in a lot of butter, or serving them with greasy bacon and white toast, you might be adding unhealthy fats and empty carbs to your meal. Instead, try pairing your eggs with healthier options. Saute some spinach or kale, add a slice of whole grain toast, or toss in a few slices of avocado. These combinations not only taste great but also give you a balanced meal that's good for your heart, your brain, and your overall energy levels. And speaking of energy, let's touch on one more point before we move on: storage. Did you know that how you store your eggs can affect their quality and safety? If you're keeping them in the door of your fridge, for example, they're exposed to temperature fluctuations every time you open and close it. This can cause them to spoil faster. Instead, store your eggs in their original carton on a shelf in the fridge, where the temperature is more consistent. And here's a pro tip: if you're not sure whether an egg is still good, do the float test. Place it in a bowl of water. If it sinks, it's fresh. If it floats, it's time to toss it. So there you have it. 3 simple but important ways to make sure your eggs are working for you, not against you. We've talked about avoiding overcooking, embracing the yolk, and storing your eggs properly, but we're just getting started. There are a few more mistakes that might be affecting your health, and we'll dive into those next. For now though, why not take a moment to think about how you've been preparing your eggs? Maybe there's a small change you can make today to boost their nutritional value. After all, it's the little things that add up to big results, especially when it comes to our health. And remember, this is just the beginning of our conversation. We'll keep exploring this topic together, so stay tuned for more tips and insights. In the meantime, I'd love to hear from you. How do you like to prepare your eggs? Have you noticed any changes in how they make you feel as you've gotten older? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. Now let's move on to the next part of our discussion, where we'll uncover even more ways to make eggs a true ally for your health. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Now that we've covered some of the basics like avoiding overcooking, embracing the yolk, and storing your eggs properly, let's dive a little deeper. There are a few more mistakes that might be slipping under your radar, and these can have a big impact on how eggs affect your health, especially as we age. So, let's keep this conversation going and explore some other common pitfalls. First up, let's talk about portion size. Eggs are nutritious, but like anything else, moderation is key. Have you ever found yourself thinking, well, eggs are healthy, so I can eat as many as I want? It's an easy trap to fall into, especially when you're trying to eat well. But here's the thing. While eggs are packed with protein, vitamins, and healthy fats, eating too many can throw off the balance of your diet. For most people, 1 to 2 eggs per day is a good guideline. This gives you the benefits without overloading on cholesterol or calories. Of course, everyone's needs are different, so it's always a good idea to check with your doctor or a nutritionist if you're unsure. But as a general rule, think of eggs as part of a balanced meal, not the whole meal itself. Now, let's move on to something that might surprise you: the type of eggs you're buying. Have you ever stood in the grocery store, staring at the egg aisle, and wondered what all those labels mean? Organic, free-range, pasture-raised, omega-3 enriched. It can be overwhelming. But here's why it matters. Not all eggs are created equal. The way the hens are raised and fed can affect the nutritional content of the eggs. For example, eggs from pasture-raised hens often have higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids, which are great for heart and brain health. They also tend to have more vitamins A and E. On the other hand, conventional eggs from hens raised in cages might not have the same nutritional profile. So, what should you look for? If possible, opt for eggs that are labeled pasture-raised or free-range. These hens typically have access to a more natural diet, which translates to better quality eggs. And if you're looking to boost your omega-3 intake, consider omega-3 enriched eggs. They're a simple way to add more of these essential fats to your diet without having to take a supplement. Of course, these options can be a bit more expensive, so if budget is a concern, don't stress. Conventional eggs are still a nutritious choice. Just try to pair them with other healthy foods to round out your meal. Next, let's talk about something that might not even occur to you: the pan you're using to cook your eggs. Have you ever noticed that your eggs stick to the pan, no matter how much butter or oil you use? It might not just be the pan's fault, it could be the type of cookware you're using. Non-stick pans are popular for cooking eggs because they make cleanup a breeze, but they come with a potential downside. Many non-stick coatings contain chemicals that can break down at high temperatures, releasing fumes that aren't great for your health. And let's face it, as we get older, we want to minimize our exposure to anything that could harm our bodies. So, what's the alternative? Consider using stainless steel or cast iron pans instead. They might take a little more effort to clean, but they're durable and don't come with the same risks as non-stick coatings. If you do use non-stick pans, make sure to cook on low to medium heat and avoid scratching the surface. And here's a little trick. If you're using stainless steel, let the pan heat up before adding your eggs. This helps create a natural non-stick surface and prevents sticking. Now, let's touch on something that's often overlooked: the timing of when you eat your eggs. Have you ever had a heavy breakfast and felt sluggish for the rest of the morning? Or maybe you've skipped breakfast altogether and found yourself reaching for unhealthy snacks by mid-morning? Timing matters, especially when it comes to eggs. They're a fantastic source of protein, which helps keep you full and energized throughout the day. But if you're eating them too late in the day or pairing them with heavy carb-heavy foods, you might not be getting the full benefit. A great way to incorporate eggs into your routine is to have them for breakfast or as part of a light lunch. This gives your body time to digest the protein and use it for energy throughout the day. And if you're someone who likes to exercise in the morning, Eggs can be a great pre- or post-workout snack. The protein helps repair and build muscle, which is especially important as we age and naturally start to lose muscle mass. So, there you have it. 4 more ways to make sure your eggs are working for you, not against you. We've talked about portion size, choosing the right type of eggs, using the right cookware, and timing your meals. But we're not done yet. There's still more to explore, and I'm excited to keep this conversation going with you. Before we move on though, I want to hear from you. Have you ever thought about the type of eggs you're buying or the pan you're using to cook them? Maybe you've already made some changes based on what we've talked about so far. Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and tips. Now, let's keep going. In the next part of our discussion, we'll uncover even more ways to make eggs a true ally for your health. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. We've covered a lot of ground so far, haven't we? From avoiding overcooking and embracing the yolk to choosing the right type of eggs and even considering the pan you're using, it's amazing how many little details can make a big difference when it comes to something as simple as eggs. But we're not quite done yet. There are a few more mistakes that might be affecting how eggs fit into your overall health, especially as we age. So let's keep this conversation going and wrap things up with some final insights. First, let's talk about something that might not seem obvious at first: how you're seasoning your eggs. Now I know what you're thinking. Seasoning? Really? But hear me out. The way you flavor your eggs can have a bigger impact on your health than you might realize. For example, if you're reaching for the salt shaker every time you make scrambled eggs or an omelet, you could be adding more sodium to your diet than you need. And as we get older, too much salt can contribute to high blood pressure, which is a risk factor for heart disease and stroke. So what's the solution? Try experimenting with other seasonings and herbs to add flavor without the extra salt. Fresh herbs like parsley, chives, or dill can brighten up your eggs beautifully. Spices like paprika, turmeric, or black pepper can add depth and warmth. And if you're feeling adventurous, a squeeze of lemon juice or a dash of hot sauce can give your eggs a whole new dimension of flavor. Not only will your taste buds thank you, but your heart will too. Next, let's talk about something that's often overlooked: the role of eggs in your overall diet. Eggs are fantastic, but they're just one piece of the puzzle. Have you ever found yourself relying on eggs as your go-to meal because they're quick and easy? While there's nothing wrong with that, it's important to make sure you're getting a variety of nutrients from other foods as well. For example, pairing your eggs with vegetables, whole grains, or healthy fats can create a more balanced meal that supports your overall health. Here's an idea. Try adding some veggies to your scrambled eggs or omelet. Spinach, bell peppers, mushrooms, and tomatoes are all great options. Or if you're having boiled eggs, serve them with a side of avocado or a slice of whole grain toast. These small additions can make a big difference in how satisfied and energized you feel after your meal. And remember, variety is key. It's not just about what you eat, but how you combine foods to create meals that nourish your body and mind. Now let's touch on something that's especially important for seniors: food safety. As we age, our immune systems aren't as strong as they used to be, which means we need to be extra careful about how we handle and prepare our food. When it comes to eggs, this means paying attention to things like expiration dates, proper storage, and cooking temperatures. We've already talked about storing eggs in the fridge, but it's also important to make sure they're cooked to a safe temperature to avoid the risk of foodborne illnesses like salmonella. Here's a quick tip. If you're making dishes like scrambled eggs or omelets, cook them until the eggs are firm and there's no runny liquid left. And if you're making recipes that call for raw or undercooked eggs, like Caesar dressing or homemade mayonnaise, consider using pasteurized eggs to reduce the risk of contamination. It's a small step, but it can make a big difference in keeping you healthy and safe. Finally, let's talk about mindset. This might sound a little abstract, but bear with me, it's important. How you think about food, including eggs, can have a big impact on your overall well-being. Have you ever found yourself feeling guilty after eating eggs because of all the mixed messages out there about cholesterol and health? Or maybe you've been stuck in a rut, eating the same egg dishes over and over because they're familiar and easy. Here's the thing. Food is meant to be enjoyed, not feared. Eggs are a versatile, nutritious food that can be part of a healthy diet at any age. Instead of worrying about what you should or shouldn't eat, try focusing on how different foods make you feel. Do eggs give you energy? Do you enjoy the process of cooking them? Do they remind you of happy memories like Sunday breakfast with family? These are all valid reasons to include eggs in your diet, and they're just as important as the nutritional benefits. So there you have it, our final thoughts on how to make eggs a true ally for your health. We've talked about seasoning wisely, balancing your meals, prioritizing food safety, and even shifting your mindset. By now I hope you feel empowered to make small, meaningful changes that can have a big impact on your health and happiness. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to recap the key points we've covered throughout this conversation. We started by talking about avoiding overcooking and embracing the yolk, then moved on to choosing the right type of eggs and using the right cookware. We discussed portion sizes, timing your meals, and even how to season your eggs in a healthier way. And finally, we touched on the importance of food safety and mindset. Each of these points is a piece of the puzzle, and together they can help you get the most out of this incredible food. Now that we've covered the essentials, how to cook, store, and enjoy eggs in ways that support your health, let's take this conversation a step further. There's always more to explore, especially when it comes to something as versatile and nutrient-packed as eggs. So, let's dive into some additional insights and strategies that can help you make the most of this incredible food, particularly as we navigate the unique needs that come with aging. One area worth exploring is the connection between eggs and brain health. As we get older, keeping our minds sharp becomes a top priority, and eggs can play a surprisingly important role in that. You see, eggs are one of the best dietary sources of choline, a nutrient that's essential for brain function. Choline helps produce acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that's involved in memory and learning. In fact, studies have shown that higher choline intake is associated with better cognitive performance and a reduced risk of cognitive decline. But here's the catch. Many of us aren't getting enough choline in our diets. It's not a nutrient that gets a lot of attention, but it's incredibly important, especially for seniors. So, how can you make sure you're getting enough? Eggs are a great place to start. Just one large egg provides about 150 milligrams of choline, which is roughly 25 to 30% of the recommended daily intake for older adults. Pair that with other choline-rich foods like fish, lean meats, and cruciferous vegetables, think broccoli and Brussels sprouts, and you've got a brain-boosting meal that's as delicious as it is nutritious. Now, let's talk about something that's often overlooked, the role of eggs in maintaining muscle mass. As we age, we naturally start to lose muscle, a process known as sarcopenia. This can lead to weakness, reduced mobility, and a higher risk of falls and injuries. But here's the good news. Eating enough protein can help slow down this process, and eggs are an excellent source of high-quality protein. In fact, the protein in eggs contains all 9 essential amino acids, making it a complete protein that's easily absorbed by the body. So, how can you use eggs to support your muscles? One simple strategy is to include them in your post-exercise meals. If you're someone who enjoys a morning walk, yoga, or even light strength training, try having a couple of eggs afterward. The protein will help repair and rebuild your muscles, keeping you strong and active. And if you're not a fan of plain eggs, consider adding them to a smoothie. Yes, you heard that right. Eggs can be blended into smoothies for a protein boost. Just make sure to use pasteurized eggs if you're consuming them raw. Another area to explore is the connection between eggs and eye health. We touched on this earlier when we talked about lutein and zeaxanthin, but it's worth diving a little deeper. These antioxidants are found in the yolk and are known to protect against age-related macular degeneration, a leading cause of vision loss in older adults. But here's something you might not know. The lutein and zeaxanthin in eggs are more bioavailable than those found in many other foods. That means your body can absorb and use them more effectively. So, how can you maximize this benefit? Try pairing your eggs with other foods that are rich in these antioxidants, like leafy greens, corn, or orange peppers. Not only will this create a colorful, nutrient-packed meal, but it will also give your eyes an extra layer of protection. And if you're someone who spends a lot of time looking at screens, this is especially important. Think of it as a little extra insurance for your vision. Now, let's shift gears and talk about something that's often overlooked: the emotional and social aspects of eating. Have you ever noticed how food can bring people together? Whether it's a family breakfast, a potluck with friends, or even a cooking class, sharing meals can be a powerful way to connect with others. And as we age, these connections become even more important for our mental and emotional well-being. So, how can eggs play a role in this? Consider using them as a way to create shared experiences. Invite a friend over for a leisurely brunch and try out a new egg recipe together. Or, if you're feeling adventurous, host a make-your-own omelet party where everyone can customize their dish with their favorite toppings. These small moments of connection can make a big difference in how you feel, both physically and emotionally. Finally, let's talk about sustainability. This might not be something you immediately associate with eggs, but it's worth considering. The way eggs are produced can have an impact on the environment, and as consumers we have the power to make choices that support more sustainable practices. For example, choosing eggs from local farms or those that use regenerative agriculture methods can help reduce your carbon footprint, and if you have the space you might even consider raising your own backyard chickens. Not only is it a rewarding hobby, but it also ensures you have a steady supply of fresh, high-quality eggs. So there you have it. Some deeper insights into how eggs can support your brain, muscles, eyes, and even your social life. We've also touched on the importance of making sustainable choices. By now, I hope you feel inspired to think about eggs in a whole new way and to experiment with different ways of incorporating them into your life. Now, let's keep going. In the next part of our discussion, we'll wrap things up with some final thoughts and a call to action. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. We have covered everything in detail in this video, from the basics of cooking and storing eggs, to exploring their role in brain health, muscle maintenance, and even sustainability. We've covered so much ground, but before we wrap things up, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned and how you can put these insights into action in your own life. First and foremost, I hope this conversation has shown you that eggs are more than just a breakfast staple. They're a powerhouse of nutrition that can support your health in so many ways. Whether you're looking to boost your brain function, maintain muscle mass, protect your vision, or simply enjoy a delicious and satisfying meal, eggs have something to offer. And the best part? They're affordable, versatile, and easy to prepare, making them a perfect choice for seniors who want to eat well without spending hours in the kitchen. But as we've discussed, it's not just about eating eggs, it's about eating them in a way that maximizes their benefits. That means avoiding common mistakes like overcooking, skipping the yolk, or relying too heavily on unhealthy add-ons like butter and salt. It also means being mindful of how you store and prepare them, choosing high-quality options when possible, and pairing them with other nutrient-rich foods to create balanced, satisfying meals. Now, I know change can feel overwhelming, especially when it comes to something as personal as food, but here's the thing: you don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start small. Maybe you try cooking your eggs a little differently, like scrambling them on low heat or adding a handful of spinach for extra nutrients. Or perhaps you experiment with new seasonings, like turmeric or fresh herbs, to add flavor without the extra salt. These small changes can add up to big results over time, and they're a great way to ease into healthier habits without feeling overwhelmed. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. Food is meant to be shared, and one of the best ways to stay motivated is to involve others. Maybe you swap egg recipes with a friend or family member, or you invite someone over for a leisurely brunch where you can try out new dishes together. Not only will this make the process more enjoyable, but it will also help you stay accountable and inspired. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. It's never too late to make positive changes for your health. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, or beyond, the choices you make today can have a profound impact on how you feel tomorrow. And eggs, with their incredible versatility and nutrient density, are a simple yet powerful tool to help you live your best life. So what's next? I encourage you to take what you've learned from this video and put it into practice. Start by thinking about one small change you can make to your egg routine, whether it's trying a new cooking method, experimenting with different seasonings, or pairing your eggs with more vegetables. Then take that first step, and don't forget to share your journey with others. Let's build a community of support and inspiration where we can all learn from each other. If you found this video helpful, I'd love it if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more tips and insights tailored to your needs. And if you have any questions, thoughts, or favorite egg recipes, please share them in the comments below. Your experiences and ideas might just inspire someone else to make a positive change in their own life. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure to explore this topic with you, and I'm excited to see where your egg journey takes you. Remember, small changes can lead to big results, and every step you take toward better health is a step worth celebrating. Here's to living your best life, one egg at a time. Until next time, take care and keep shining.